Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Manuel Pina. I am currently an assistant professor of English in the College of Liberal Arts here at Texas A&M University-Corpus Christi. I recently completed my fourth year review and I was asked to make this brief video to share with you the approach that I took when assembling and submitting my dossier. I think the most important thing about creating an effective tenure or pre-tenure dossier is being able to make the work that you've done towards tenure legible to a potentially very diverse set of readers. And so what I want to share with you today is really two practices that I at least found especially helpful in creating my dossier. The first has to deal with centralizing where information is kept, and the second piece of advice relates to how to communicate your progress towards tenure effectively so that your case is as strong as it can possibly be. So let me log into Interfolio really quickly and I can show you what I mean by both of these things. All right, so here we are in Interfolio. I've logged in and I've come down to the Activities tab on the left toolbar. And as I just mentioned, the first piece of advice that I have for you deals with centralizing where information is stored so that it's easily accessible to you when you need it, when you're getting ready to assemble and submit your pre-tenure or tenure dossier. If you're not doing this already, I highly recommend that you take some time, at least once a week or every other week, to update your progress towards tenure as it relates to service, scholarship, and teaching. So now when you're updating your progress towards tenure every week in Interfolio, I think it's important to store all the documentation and proof of your progress towards tenure in Interfolio so that it's not living in a random file somewhere on your computer that you might forget. So for example, if I am teaching a new course or if I've updated or revised a course substantially, I will come into Interfolio and I'll of course fill out all these fields. But what I'll also do is on the bottom left, I'll upload a file, for example, the syllabus for the new course or the assignment sheet that I've redesigned, and I will upload that file here so that it lives in Interfolio, because when I get ready to submit my dossier, and as I'll discuss in just a minute, I want to have that documentation and that proof of progress towards tenure readily available to me. So when you update Interfolio, don't just log your activity. I would recommend that you upload the files here in Interfolio so that you have them when you need them. Okay, so the second practice that I wanted to talk to you today about deals with how you present and package your progress towards tenure when you get ready to submit your pre-tenure or tenure dossier in Interfolio. And part of that presentation work does involve the wonderful world of file naming conventions. And I know that file naming may not be the most illustrious or exciting part of putting together a packet, but I do think that file names are the structure that you can use and build into your tenure dossier that will make it the most legible to the widest possible audiences. So a couple of things for context. When you are getting ready to create your packet in Interfolio, it's going to look a little bit different than what you see on screen here because this packet's already been submitted. But at the top of each section, there's going to be an option to add documents. And so you'll have the option to upload documents, and you'll first upload things like your pre-tenure chair, your departmental chair letter and the executive summary, which is going to provide a very broad discussion of how your teaching, scholarship, and service all weave together. But what I want to talk to you most about is the way that you craft and present information in the overviews of each section for teaching, service, and scholarship. So this on screen now is the overview letter for my performance in teaching. And as you start to tell the story of your excellence in teaching, you're going to want to reference specific pieces of evidence that show that you've made adequate or exceeded the requirements for tenure. And so one of the things that I wanted to discuss in my teaching was my participation in AQ's Effective Teaching Practices and Effective Online Teaching Practices professional development course that the university provided to me. And so you can see in the letter, when I reference that course, I have a parentheses behind it with V.3a. And that reference is going to be the actual certificate that I've uploaded into Interfolio as evidence of excellence in teaching. And if you go back to the packet here, you'll see that the file name here corresponds directly to the file that I reference in the overview packet. So this makes it easy for readers of my tenure packet to say, okay, here's evidence of excellence in teaching, and then I can easily find that file name so I can see the evidence of excellence in teaching. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that in the first practice that I talked about earlier, I talked about uploading files into Interfolio on a weekly basis. Those file names don't have to be the same as the file names that you input into Interfolio when you're creating your packet. For example, this file, my certificate of completion for the AQ course, is here when I upload my weekly activities, and you'll see that that file name is different when I first uploaded it. It's AQ_cert and Pina, right? But when I went to go put together my packet, again, I had the option to add a file up here on the top. And when I added that file, it gave me the option to upload a file from my computer, or I can upload a file that's already existing in Interfolio. And so what I did is I just selected this file that was already existing in Interfolio, and I renamed it to correspond with the file name that I reference in my overview letter. And again, this practice makes it easy for readers to trace the story that you want to tell of excellence in scholarship, teaching, and service. So as you name files, I think it's important to just name your files according to the section that you're working on, right? So in Interfolio, when I'm creating my packet, section 5 deals with my teaching. So every file under this section starts with Roman numeral 5, and there's a period, and then number 1 corresponds to the statement of teaching philosophy and growth, and then 3 corresponds here to evidence, and A is obviously the first piece of evidence. And so you can name your files accordingly so that it's easy for readers to follow that path that you're trying to create for them through your overview letters in your tenure packet. So that's basically what I have for you folks. Again, just to recap, I think an effective tenure dossier hinges on making the work that you've done towards tenure organized and legible to a wide variety of readers and potential users of that document. And the steps that I've used to create my pre-tenure dossier was 1, collecting evidence in an organized manner and centralizing and storing that information in Interfolio so that it's readily accessible and easy to find when I need it. And then the more important step, I think, is presenting that evidence in such a way that readers know where to find information, right? So use file naming conventions, boring though they may be, to help your readers navigate your dossier. Name your files according to the university rule, documentation relating to tenure, and then reference the appropriate files in each overview section in scholarship, teaching, and service. I hope that you found this video beneficial, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and contact me via email, and I'll be happy to share with you my experiences assembling my pre-tenure dossier.